this video is about. The mother saw her son cry, and then a forgotten gift changed everything. If this story touches your heart, please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. Part 1. The mother saw her son cry, and then a forgotten gift changed everything. The rain drummed persistently against the window panes of the small, unassuming house nestled at the end of Maple Street. A faint smell of damp earth mingled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, wafting softly from the kitchen where Clara Bennett stood, her back to the living room. She poured herself a steaming cup, her thoughts drifting like the raindrops racing down the glass. Clara was a woman of quiet strength, her life shaped by the undulating tides of motherhood and an unshakable resilience. She had always been there for her son, Liam, a bright-eyed 10-year-old with a heart full of dreams and an imagination as boundless as the sky. But as she observed the rain, her heart ached with the knowledge of the storm brewing within him. "Mom!" Liam's voice burst through the air, breaking her reverie. She turned to see him standing in the doorway, his usually sparkling blue eyes clouded with something deeper today. He was wearing his favorite blue hoodie, the one with the cartoon rocket ship emblazoned on the front, but even its comfort seemed to have lost its hold on him. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Clara asked, her voice soft and reassuring, though her heart raced with concern. "Nothing." He shrugged, but the way his hands fidgeted with the hem of his hoodie betrayed him. Clara knew the signs. The school year had been tough on Liam, filled with new challenges, friends changing and drifting apart, and the harsh reality of growing up. She approached him, kneeling down to meet his gaze. "You can talk to me, I'm here for you." Liam looked away, his gaze drifting towards the window where the rain continued its relentless assault. "It's just school. People don't want to hang out with me anymore. They think I'm weird." "Who thinks you're weird?" Clara pressed gently, sensing the weight of his sadness. "Just everyone, I don't know." He turned his back to her, and she could see his shoulders trembling slightly. A lump formed in Clara's throat. She reached out to touch his arm, and he flinched as if her touch was a spark that ignited something deep inside. "Oh, honey." That was when she saw the first tear fall from his eye, glistening like a raindrop caught in the light before it splashed onto the floor. Her heart shattered, the sound of it echoing in the silence of the room. "Liam, please," she whispered, pulling him into her arms. He hesitated, then melted into her embrace, the dam breaking as he sobbed against her shoulder. "It's okay to cry. You don't have to hide from me. I just want to play with them. Why don't they want to play with me?" He cried, his words muffled against her. Clara stroked his hair, a rush of memories flooding her mind. She remembered how vibrant and full of life he had been just a few months ago, running around with his friends, laughing without a care in the world. It felt like a distant memory now, overshadowed by the weight of loneliness that had begun to settle over him. Sometimes kids don't see things the way we do. They're still figuring it out too. You haven't done anything wrong. She pulled back slightly to look into his eyes, the ocean of tears threatening to spill over. "You are so special, Liam. Anyone would be lucky to have you as a friend." He sniffled and wiped his eyes, and for a moment she felt a glimmer of hope as he nodded. But as quickly as it came, it was gone, eclipsed by the storm still raging within him. "I just wish I could fit in," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. Clara's heart ached for him. She wanted to make everything right, to shield him from the pain of rejection, but she knew she couldn't wrap him in bubble wrap his whole life. "When I was your age, I felt the same way sometimes. I had a tough time making friends too, but I learned that it's okay to be different. It's okay to stand out." Liam stared at her surprised. "You?" "Yes," she said with a soft smile, recalling the awkwardness of her own childhood, the feeling of being the odd one out at school. "I had my own set of interests that didn't always match up with everyone else's." But over time, I found my tribe, and you will too." He looked unconvinced, but Clara felt a flicker of determination. "You know what? I have something that might help." "What?" he asked, his curiosity piqued, momentarily distracting him from his sorrow. "Do you remember that box of things I put away in the attic? The one filled with my old toys, books, and even some of my childhood treasures?" She said, standing up and brushing the hair from her face. Yeah," he replied, his voice trailing off as he wiped his tears. "I think there's something in there that I kept for you. A little gift I thought you might like." She watched as Liam's interest shifted, his eyes starting to sparkle despite the remnants of his tears. "Really? What is it?" "You'll have to come with me to find out," she said playfully, taking his small hand in hers. The attic was a realm of shadows and forgotten memories, the air thick with dust motes dancing in the dim light filtering through a small window. Clara climbed the narrow staircase with Liam close behind her, his earlier sorrow momentarily forgotten. As they reached the top, she flicked on the light, revealing a space filled with boxes and old furniture covered in sheets. She led him to a large trunk tucked away in the corner, its faded surface marked by the passage of time. "Here it is," she said, kneeling before it and lifting the heavy lid with a soft creak. Inside lay a jumble of items, old stuffed animals, books with yellowed pages, and a collection of art supplies. But nestled among them was a small, intricately carved wooden dragon, its scales etched with delicate detail. "What's that?" Liam asked, his voice filled with awe as he leaned closer. "This was my special dragon," Clara said, lifting it carefully from the trunk. "I used to carry it everywhere when I was your age. I thought it brought me good luck." "Can I hold it?" Liam asked, his eyes wide with wonder. "Of course," she smiled, placing it gently in his outstretched hands. "It's been waiting for you." Liam cradled the dragon, his fingers tracing the engravings. "It's amazing, Mom. Can I keep it?" Clara nodded, her heart swelling with warmth. "It's yours now, and maybe it'll remind you that you're brave like the dragon. You can conquer anything, Liam, even when it feels hard." His face lit up, a real smile breaking through the clouds of his earlier sadness. "Can we make a story about it together?" "Absolutely," she laughed, her own heart beginning to heal as she watched the transformation in him. "Let's write an epic adventure for your dragon." As they sat on the attic floor, surrounded by memories of the past, Clara felt a renewed sense of connection with her son. She saw not just the boy who had cried earlier, but the imaginative storyteller he was becoming, capable of crafting worlds where friendship could flourish and courage could overcome sadness. Little did they know, however, that this small act of sharing a forgotten gift would be the spark that ignited a series of events that would change both their lives forever. Part 2. The mother saw her son cry, and then a forgotten gift changed everything. The attic was alive with the fragrance of dust and nostalgia, a blend that stirred memories long buried beneath layers of time. As Clara and Liam sat cross-legged on the floor, the light from the small window illuminated particles swirling in the air, creating a ghostly dance around them. The wooden dragon lay between them, a tangible link to Clara's past and an unexpected bridge to Liam's present. Liam clutched the dragon close, his face aglow with excitement as he examined the creature's intricacies. "So, what kind of adventures did you have with him?" he asked, his eyes sparkling, the storm of sorrow from earlier now a distant echo. Clara leaned back slightly, taking a moment to delve into her own memory. "Oh, he was my companion on many quests. I used to imagine that he could fly me to the highest mountains or deep into enchanted forests. Often, we'd fight off imaginary monsters together." Her voice grew more animated, and she could see the same spark igniting in her son. "Monsters!" Liam exclaimed, shifting closer, as if the dragon's presence could ward off any lurking fears. What kind of monsters? Well, there was the gloomy goblin who tried to steal all the fun from the village, she said, weaving her fingers together as she spoke, her eyes alive with the story. He would hide behind trees and attempt to scare everyone into staying indoors. But my dragon and I would swoop in and make sure everyone could play outside again. We'd teach the goblin that laughter was stronger than fear. Liam giggled, his laughter bubbling up like the first rays of sunlight breaking after a storm. That's so cool. What did the goblin look like? Oh, he was all green and grumpy with squinty eyes and a big, crooked nose. But by the end of our adventure, he always learned to smile. That was the best part, turning a grumpy goblin into a happy friend. Clara smiled, her heart warming as she witnessed the joy returning to her son's face. Can we do that? Can we make a story like that right now? Liam asked, his fingers still tracing the dragon's engravings as though seeking inspiration from its very surface. Of course, how about we name our dragon first? Clara suggested, plucking an old, dusty notebook from the pile next to them. Let's write everything down so we don't forget any part of our adventure. Liam thought for a moment, his brow furrowing in concentration. How about Spike? Spike is perfect. Clara laughed. Now, what kind of adventure should Spike go on? Maybe he needs to rescue a friend who's in trouble. Liam's eyes widened, excitement flooding back in. Yes, he can rescue a princess and the gloomy goblin can be her captor. Great idea, but what if the goblin isn't just mean? What if he's misunderstood? Clara proposed, trying to weave some moral depth into their story. Perhaps he took the princess because he felt lonely himself. Like me. Liam's voice fell slightly, the laughter dimming momentarily. Exactly, sweetheart. Just because someone acts a certain way doesn't mean they don't want to be friends, Clara reminded him gently, reaching out to touch his arm. That's the beauty of understanding one another. Liam nodded, absorbing her words. Okay, so Spike flies to the goblin's cave to talk to him first. He grinned, as if the pieces of their story were falling into place like a well-crafted puzzle. Yes, and Spike discovers that the goblin just wanted someone to play with, Clara continued, captivated by his enthusiasm. As they wrote and shared ideas, the lines of their lives began to blur, merging into a shared world of imagination. For hours, they crafted their tale, each page bringing them closer, not just as mother and son, but as collaborators in a universe that flourished under the weight of their shared creativity. With each turn of the page, they laughed, discussed, and occasionally drifted into deeper conversations about loneliness, friendship, and bravery. Can we draw Spike too? Liam suddenly asked, his voice filled with an eagerness that sparked a new energy in Clara. Absolutely. Let's gather some of those old art supplies, she said, glancing around the attic until her eyes landed on a dusty box tucked away in a corner. Stay here. I'll be right back. She stood and walked towards the box, her heart swelling with a sense of purpose. As she rummaged through the box, she pulled out colored pencils, crayons, and some slightly crumpled sheets of drawing paper. She glanced back at Liam, whose eyes were already alight with anticipation, and couldn't help but smile. Here we go, time to bring Spike to life, Clara exclaimed, handing him a blank sheet. Liam took the paper eagerly and began sketching, his small brow furrowing in concentration. Clara settled beside him, picking up a pencil herself. As they drew together, their artistic energies intertwined, creating bursts of creativity that seemed to fill the attic with a vibrant pulse. What color do you think Spike should be? Liam asked, pausing to look at his mother's tentative strokes. Let's make him rainbow, Clara suggested with a twinkle in her eye, knowing just how much Liam loved vibrant colors. Awesome, he cheered, and for a while the attic transformed into a world of colors and laughter, drowning out the remnants of their earlier worries. As they sketched and colored, Clara felt as though they were building a fortress of joy, a sanctuary where the outside world, filled with challenges, unkindness, and fears, could not intrude. It felt liberating, like unleashing a long-buried part of herself that had been stifled by the daily rhythms of parenting and adult worries. "We'll make Spike the coolest dragon ever," Liam declared, his confidence spilling over like the colors filling the page. "Yes, and let's give him some cool accessories," Clara replied enthusiastically. "What about a cape?" "A cape, yes." Liam cheered, and together they began to brainstorm more features for their dragon, each idea building upon the last. Hours slipped away unnoticed, the rain outside softening into a gentle patter. With every stroke of their pencils, Clara felt a weight lifting from her chest, as if the act of creation was also an act of healing. She glanced at Liam, who was now humming softly to himself, lost in his artistic world, and her heart swelled with pride. "You know, I think Spike is going to need a sidekick for his adventures," Clara said playfully, allowing her imagination to run wild. "What about a brave little mouse who helps him out?" "Yeah, and the mouse can help Spike sneak past the goblin," Liam suggested, his enthusiasm palpable. "Absolutely. They'll become the best of friends just like us," Clara said, hoping to reinforce the deep bond they were nurturing that moment. Liam paused and looked up at her, his gaze serious yet gentle. "Mom, do you think Spike would still be brave even if he was scared?" Clara felt a lump in her throat at his question, the wisdom of his 10 years shining through. "Yes, Liam. Being brave isn't about not feeling scared. It's about facing what scares you, even if your heart is racing. Do you remember what I said about being different?" "Yeah, it's okay to fit in," he said slowly, his voice thoughtful. "Exactly. It's okay to be scared too. Spike can be scared to face the goblin, but he goes anyway because he believes in friendship," Clara encouraged. Liam took a deep breath, as if absorbing her words like a lifeline. "I want to be like Spike. I want to be brave. And you are, my love. Facing your fears is the bravest thing you can do," Clara assured him, her own heart swelling as she realized the impact of their story stretched beyond mere words on a page. Just then, a loud clap of thunder echoed outside, rattling the window. Liam jumped slightly, his playful demeanor flickering for a moment as the storm reminded him of the reality outside. Clara took his hands gently, squeezing them reassuringly. "Let's not let the storm scare us, okay? We have Spike and our adventures. We're safe here together," she said, her voice calm and steady. He nodded, taking a deep breath, and Clara could see the flicker of courage ignite again within him. They returned to their drawing, laughing and bringing their dragon to life on the page, the storm outside becoming a distant whisper against the warmth of their shared world. As they sat together, the dragon taking form under their hands, Clara knew that this simple act of creativity was more than a distraction from the tears and fears of the day. It was a foundation for resilience, hope, and an unbreakable bond that would carry them through the challenges ahead. And somewhere deep within her, she felt the quiet assurance that the storm, both outside and within, would eventually pass, leaving behind a clearer sky for new adventures to unfold. Part 3. The mother saw her son cry, and then a forgotten gift changed everything. The rain had transformed into a gentle drizzle, tapping rhythmically against the attic window like a soothing lullaby. Clara glanced out, the world beyond blurred into soft hues of gray and green, nature's palette washed clean in the aftermath of the storm. Inside the attic, however, a different kind of magic unfolded. The air was alive with laughter and the scratch of crayons against paper. "Look, Mom, Spike has his rainbow cape." Liam cheered, holding up his drawing for her to see. The dragon, A riot of colors and imaginative flair burst forth from the page with vibrant enthusiasm. Clara couldn't help but smile, a warm wave of love washing over her as she took in the joy radiating from her son. "It's perfect, sweetheart. He's going to be the most dashing dragon in the land," she exclaimed, unable to suppress her delight. The joy in Liam's eyes was a beacon, illuminating the shadows that had threatened to envelop them both earlier. "And he's going to be super brave," Liam added, his voice bubbling over with excitement. "I can't wait for him to face the gloomy goblin." Clara nodded, her heart swelling with pride. "And remember, Spike may be scared, but he'll still go on his adventure. That's what makes him brave." Liam bit his lip, deep in thought before looking back at her. "Mom, do you think I can be brave too, like Spike?" "Absolutely, my love. You just showed it today," she replied, her eyes softening as she pondered how their shared creativity had opened a door to deeper conversations. "You faced your feelings and shared them with me. That takes a lot of courage." A moment of silence settled between them, the gravity of her words hanging in the air. Liam's eyes glimmered with understanding, and he nodded slowly, as if absorbing the truth of her statement. "I guess it does," he murmured, the honesty in his voice wrapping around Clara like a warm blanket. They continued to draw and write, their story blossoming with each turn of the page. Hours passed, the outside world forgotten as they created a rich universe filled with colorful characters and adventures. Each word they penned seemed to weave a tighter bond between them, crafting something far more profound than just a tale of a dragon and a goblin. "Okay, let's give Spike a sidekick. Someone who's super brave but also a little silly," Clara suggested, hoping to keep the imaginative momentum flowing. "Can it be a squirrel? Squirrels are funny," Liam blurted out, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. "Yes, a squirrel named Nutty." Clara laughed, picturing the tiny creature darting around, full of energy and mischief. As they fleshed out their cast of characters, the attic transformed into a realm of creativity that felt safe, a sanctuary where fears could be faced and friendship could thrive. The bond between mother and son deepened with each stroke of their pencils. "Mom, what if Spike and Nutty have to solve a puzzle to find the princess?" Liam suggested, his imagination whirring like a well-oiled machine. "Great idea. Maybe it's hidden in the deepest part of the forest, guarded by the gloomy goblin," Clara replied, her fingers tapping the table in excitement. "But to get there, they must first help the goblin find his smile. That's the key to unlocking the puzzle." Liam's face brightened as he clapped his hands. "We should make the goblin love cookies. What if Spike and Nutty bake cookies together as a peace offering?" Clara chuckled, picturing the absurdity of a goblin with a sweet tooth. "That's brilliant. The goblin can't resist cookies, especially chocolate chip. Let's write that down." Liam scribbled furiously, his pencil moving with a fervor that made Clara grin. As they wove their tale of friendship and bravery, Clara couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of hope, not just for Liam but for herself as well. The world had its challenges, but here, in the sanctuary of their attic, they were crafting something beautiful, an exploration of courage and connection that would resonate far beyond the confines of those walls. The sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a warm golden glow through the small window. Clara felt a sense of urgency to capture the moment, knowing that this newfound connection was fragile yet profound. "Liam, can we take a break for a moment?" she asked gently, hoping to extend their refuge a bit longer. "Sure, I need to stretch anyway," he replied, pushing his crayons aside and standing up, stretching his arms wide. "What do you want to do?" Clara stood as well, her heart racing with a sudden idea. "How about we create a special spot for Spike in your room? A place where he can always watch over you and remind you to be brave. Like a dragon cave," Liam exclaimed, his eyes widening with delight. "Can we use the box from the attic?" "Absolutely, let's go find one," Clara said, feeling the warmth of excitement bubble in her chest. They descended the narrow stairs, laughter echoing around them like a melody. Clara felt invigorated by Liam's enthusiasm. It was infectious, and she realized how much she had missed this playful spirit in their lives. As they rummaged through boxes in the attic, Clara felt the weight of her worries lift, replaced by a sense of joy that felt almost foreign yet welcoming. "Here, this will be perfect," Liam called out, pulling a small wooden crate from a corner. It was weathered and worn, its surface rough but sturdy, and Clara could see the potential it held. "Yes, let's decorate it. We can paint it like Spike," she suggested, her mind racing with ideas as Liam's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Can we add glitter?" he asked eagerly, bouncing on his toes. "Of course. This is Spike's special cave, after all." Clara laughed, already envisioning how the box would transform into a vibrant homage to their story. Back in the kitchen, they laid out supplies, paints, brushes, and yes, a generous amount of glitter. Clara felt a flutter of anticipation as they began to work, the box slowly morphing from a simple crate into something magical. "First, we need to paint it a bright green like a dragon," Liam said, his face scrunched in concentration as he dipped the brush into the paint. Clara nodded, her hands moving deftly as she co-painted alongside him, the two of them immersed in a world of creativity. "And then we can add colorful scales around the sides. What do you think?" "That's awesome," he replied, his eyes lighting up as he carefully painted vibrant scales around the edges. As they painted, Clara found herself sharing stories of her childhood adventures, tales of imagination and the power of creativity. "You know, when I was little, I used to think my toys came alive when I wasn't looking. I thought they had their own secret world," she said, her voice softening as she watched Liam's face light up. "Really, what did they do?" he asked, his paintbrush paused mid-stroke. "They had parties and danced. Sometimes they'd even go on adventures of their own," Clara replied, her heart swelling with nostalgia. "I like to think they were always cheering me on, just like Spike is cheering you on now." Liam's expression shifted, deep in thought for a moment. "Mom, do you think my toys will cheer for me too?" he asked, his voice small. "Absolutely. I think they're proud of you every time you face your fears," Clara reassured him, her heart aching with love and tenderness. The conversation flowed effortlessly, like the paint gliding across the crate. With each stroke, each word shared, Clara felt as though they were building more than just a dragon cave. They were laying the foundations for something far more significant, a bond strengthened by understanding and creativity. As they finished the painting, the box sparkled with colors and glitter, a testament to their shared imagination. Clara stepped back, admiring their work, feeling a rush of satisfaction. "It's beautiful, Liam. I think Spike will love it. Can we put him inside?" Liam asked, his voice bubbling with excitement. "Of course," Clara replied, lifting the wooden dragon from the table where it had sat all day. Now he has his very own cave. As Liam carefully placed the dragon inside, Clara watched his face light up with joy, the earlier shadows of sadness and loneliness dissolving into the warmth of their shared laughter. "Now Spike can always remind you to be brave," Clara said, her heart swelling with pride. Liam nodded, his eyes gleaming with determination. "I'm going to be like Spike, Mom. I'm going to be brave, and I'll make friends too." Tears pricked at the corners of Clara's eyes as she marveled at the transformation in her son, the weight of their earlier struggles lifting. "You will, sweetheart. Remember, it's okay to take your time. You have Spike, and you'll always have me cheering for you." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over their newly created dragon cave, Clara felt a #Part 4. The mother saw her son cry, and then a forgotten gift changed everything. The evening stretched on, draping itself in shades of twilight that crept through the attic window. Clara and Liam sat cross-legged on the floor, their dragon cave now a centerpiece of vibrant color and sparkling glitter. The once ordinary wooden crate had transformed into Spike's sanctuary, a representation of their shared journey through imagination and creativity, and it glimmered softly in the fading light. "Spike looks so happy in his cave," Liam said, his voice full of awe as he gazed at the wooden dragon nestled among the colorful scales painted around the edges. Clara smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "He does, doesn't he? Just like you, he's found a place where he belongs. Can we write more about his adventures?" Liam's eyes sparkled with excitement, his earlier melancholy now a mere whisper in the background. "I want to know how he helps the goblin find his smile." "Absolutely. Let's get back to our story," Clara replied, her heart brimming with gratitude for this moment. The laughter, the creativity, the bond that had blossomed between them in the wake of vulnerability. As they settled back onto the attic floor, Clara noticed the remnants of dried tears still lingering on Liam's cheeks, but now they were replaced by a vivid eagerness to create. She picked up the notebook again, its pages filled with the magic they had already conjured together. "Okay, let's think. Spike and Nutty have to create a plan to win over the goblin. What would be the best way to make him feel better?" Clara prompted, ready to dive back into their narrative. Liam's brow creased in thought, his young mind racing with ideas. Maybe they could invite him to a party," he exclaimed, his voice bubbling over with enthusiasm. "A big party with cake and games." "A party sounds perfect," Clara agreed, her excitement mirroring his. "But what kind of games do you think they would play?" "Hide and seek," Liam said, his eyes lighting up. "That's my favorite game." Clara laughed, her heart swelling with joy. "And what if they added a treasure hunt? They could make it super fun, where everyone gets to find little treats hidden around the forest." "Yes, and they could even make a treasure map." Liam scribbled furiously in the notebook, his small hands moving with purpose. "And the goblin can be the treasure guardian. It's like he's the king of the party." Clara's heart warmed at his creativity. "Exactly. It will show him that being a little different can be fun and exciting, and the other creatures in the forest will love him too. After all, everyone loves a good party." They continued to build their story, each idea weaving a tapestry of friendship and acceptance that resonated deeply with Clara. With each turning page, she felt the shadows of her own past, the fears and insecurities that had plagued her as a child, begin to lift. She was grateful that through Liam's struggles, they were creating a safe space for understanding and connection. "Mom, what if Spike makes the goblin a special cake?" Liam suggested suddenly, his imagination igniting like a spark. "A cake shaped like a dragon." "I love that idea," Clara exclaimed, clapping her hands in delight. "And it should be filled with chocolate and sprinkles, maybe even a few gummy worms for decoration." "Yum," Liam giggled, his laughter echoing warmly in the attic. "That's going to be the best cake ever, and when the goblin sees it, he'll have to smile, right?" "Exactly," Clara said, her heart swelling with love for the thoughtful little boy who sat beside her. "Sometimes, a small gesture can change everything, just like how sharing Spike has changed things for you." "Yeah," Liam said, his gaze dropping to the drawing of Spike. "It's nice to know that even when things are hard, there's always a chance to make it better." Clara felt a lump in her throat, her son's innocence striking a chord deep within her. "That's right, sweetheart. And it's also okay to ask for help when you need it, just like Spike asked Nutty for help. We all need friends to lean on sometimes." Liam nodded, absorbing her words, and Clara saw the flicker of courage rekindling in him. "I want to be like Spike and help my friends too," he said determinedly, his voice steady. "And you can be my love. Just remember to be yourself. You have so much to offer," Clara encouraged, her heart swelling as she spoke. "Sometimes it's the ones who feel different that make the most wonderful friends." As they continued crafting the adventures of Spike and the gloomy goblin, the attic felt like a cocoon, a sacred space where laughter and creativity flourished. The shadows of the world outside were but distant echoes, muffled by the joy they had created together. "Mom," Liam said suddenly, his voice dropping to a whisper, "do you think we can have a party like Spike's one day?" Clara paused, her heart aching at the thought. She knew how much Liam had struggled to connect with his peers. "Absolutely, Liam. We can plan a big celebration, a party where everyone is invited just like Spike's. You can be the host, and we can bake that cake together." "Really? That would be amazing." His eyes widened with excitement, a glint of hope illuminating his face. "Can we invite my friends from school too?" "Yes, we can. And I'll help you invite them," Clara promised, feeling her heart flutter with anticipation. "We'll make sure everyone knows they're welcome." Liam grinned widely, his smile stretching from ear to ear. "This is going to be the best party ever. I can't wait." As they wrapped up their evening of creativity, Clara felt a sense of hope wash over her. The storm inside Liam's heart had calmed, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose and belonging. She knew that the journey ahead would still have its challenges, but they had begun to build the tools he would need to navigate it. "Let's save our story for tomorrow," Clara suggested, gently closing the notebook. "We can work on it some more after our party planning." "Okay, but can we keep Spike in my room tonight?" Liam asked, his voice quivering with a mix of excitement and sentiment. "He's my lucky dragon now." "Of course, Spike is yours to keep," she replied, her heart swelling with warmth as they stood together, the wooden dragon cradled carefully in Liam's arms. "In fact, why don't we put him on your shelf? That way, he can watch over you while you sleep." "Good idea," Liam chirped, his eyes shining with eagerness. As they walked to his room, the atmosphere felt lighter, filled with the promise of friendship and adventure. Clara felt invigorated, her spirit lifted by the love she had for her son and the strength she saw in him. Once in his room, Liam carefully placed Spike on his shelf, right next to a collection of his other treasures: books, small toys, and drawings from school. It was a small kingdom of childhood imagination, vibrantly alive with memories yet to be made. "Good night, Spike," Liam said softly, reaching out to touch the dragon's wooden head. "You're going to have the best adventures." Clara smiled, tucking Liam into bed, her heart filled with gratitude for the day they had shared. "And tomorrow, we'll start planning your party, filled with cake and laughter." Liam's eyelids fluttered. He was already on the cusp of sleep. "Thanks, Mom. I love you." "I love you too, sweetheart," she whispered, brushing a stray hair from his forehead. The weight of mothering felt lighter, infused with hope as she watched him drift off, his face serene, unburdened. As Clara tiptoed out of his room, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The journey of motherhood was a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, each moment a stitch in the fabric of their lives. She couldn't shield Liam from every storm, but she could equip him with the love, courage, and creativity to weather them. In the days to come, she would hold on to this moment, the spark of creativity, the warmth of connection, and the gift of a forgotten dragon that had opened the door to a world of possibilities. Together, they would embrace both the challenges and the joys of life, one adventure at a time.